Jake.
What?
Jake, it's wet over here.
It rained last night. What do you expect?
Close your windows.
I haven't driven in like 5 days. I forgot to close them.
Chuck E. Cheese will make this better.
Okay, well, we've been over this. I'm banned from Chuck E. Cheese, so we can't go.
What happens when you punch Chucky in the face and then try to steal 3 pizzas. From children. From children.
First off, the children offered it to me. And second, he put his arm around me in the photo.
When a children offers you something at that age, it's rhetorical because they don't know. They don't have cognitive skill. Let's just put songs on.
Whatever. That rat cannot be that close to me. Yes. This makes it better. Good choice.
Just turn it down.
What do you mean turn it? No. Leave it. I'm driving. I pick the volume and the songs for that matter.
This is, you're not over this yet? It's not 2013.
Yeah, we'll never be over this. Never.
Okay, we can be over it right now. JJ.
What? No.
Ooh.
Dude.
Talk about something you can't get over.
See, no. The Buffalo Wild Wings karaoke scarred me. I can't do this. No. Stop. Andrew.
I just beat the shit out of your dashboard.
I can't. I'm getting a headache. My ears are bleeding. They're bleeding.
Fine, you're driving, so there isn't bleeding.
Here we go.
This is the weirdest Pandora radio I've ever heard.
Dude, this is an anthem if I've ever heard one. Leave it. 2, 1. Oh,
you don't even know the words. That's how much of an anthem. Okay. Jake, the pollen from you having your window open.
The shoe. Dude. No, this song's so stupid. How do you even like this song? I don't understand. Garbage.
Bitch.
All I hear is, I have insecurities. Tease. Garbage.
I'll argue with it, I guess.
There we go. Katy Perry. Super Bowl halftime show? Killed it. Second to only but Beyonce.
Why would you bite your tongue and hold your breath?
Like, it's a figure of speech.
What if you ever bit your tongue? Like, ugh.
Alright, it's not sadistic. No, dude. The amount of white girls that play the song every day, I can't do it.
Oh, you can play about white girls now. You just play Hamilton.
It's an anthem. This is garbage.
You gotta have that.
No, I will
That makes
not.
the song. Zayn makes
I don't
the
care.
song.
No.
This isn't even Zayn.
Didn't he leave?
Okay, well, you know what? We can't agree on music. Let's just focus on the show. We gotta get to the studio.
We do have to get to the studio.
Did you do your research for the top 5?
Yes, I wrote them all.
Did you see Everest?
I definitely saw it.
Did you saw Everest? You
Yes.
did? Okay.
I
Did you
didn't
know
see
Dylan's coming?
Wasn't the intern. Dylan?
Dylan Gordon, our news director at MCTV. We got a brand new segment this week. Class's Corner. You gotta read the notes I sent you.
That's nifty. I don't mean anything.
Road trips are the worst. You're the worst. Let's try the music again. Fine. Ooh, something we can agree on.
You actually like
Some
something
brand
decent.
new middle seats, and it starts now.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andrew Auger. That's Jake Hensler. Hope you enjoyed that little drive you took with us.
We barely made it here.
Chuck E. Cheese. I want to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
I don't care. That rat is not welcome in my presence anymore.
Is he a rat or a mouse? We've been having this debate.
He's a rodent.
Pretty much all day.
Rodent, and I really don't care. I don't like him. He doesn't like me, and that's about it.
How you doing besides your daily pissing me off?
Actually, great. Now that you mention that.
Does that make your day?
Sometimes it does.
You're the Dirty Harry of pissing me off.
The 67 on my Christianity quiz isn't really happening, but other than that, yeah, no, it's fine.
Peace be with you.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll get 100 now. So now, as Andrew takes a little water break, we're going to.
Power of Christ compels you.
That's what. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what you were doing.
I had to stick my finger down there. Anyways.
I don't even. Blew me off. Okay. Before we climb into our review of Everest, we really got to talk about some news. The top 5.
These are the biggest news stories of the week. In film, they are ranked in ascending order per usual.
Kickstarting our news segment is a fast-paced and high-powered story on the Fast and Furious franchise. Earlier this week, it was released that there will be 3 more Fast films to cap the series at a double-digit number. Frontman Vin Diesel is calling it the last trilogy, although I think he forgot a little simple addition along the way, and is even in talks to direct. Since Fury 7 director James Wan has left the project to go back to his ways of being one of the head horror honchos in Hollywood, Universal is desperately looking for another director. Although many things are still in the works, it is believed that the next installment will be looking at another April release date.
Alliteration. Good job.
Right? 6th grade writing. Proud of myself.
Nice job.
But
Want to guess how much Furious 7 made at the box office? I think you know.
I know it's over $1 billion.
That's crazy.
1.2
Crazy.
billion, something like that?
I believe it's the third highest grossing film worldwide of all time. So
Is it?
not in America, but like if you take every other country.
Is
and
it
put
really? I
together.
knew it was top 10, probably top 5. Did it?
Audiences went nuts for that movie. So of course there's gonna be a Furious 8.
Yeah.
Having said that, some of the news that's coming out about Furious 8 isn't making me as excited as I was for Furious 7.
Yeah, they can't. Both recent directors dropped out. Now Vin Diesel wants to do it.
But
and
Vin Diesel also, it came out earlier today, Vin Diesel contacted Rob Cohen, who did the first one. Which
Okay.
I'm not really that big of a fan of the first one. I don't know if you've seen it.
I only saw
but
5, 6, and 7.
The insanity of 6, 7, and 5, those, I don't know why I didn't just do 5, 6, 7. But the insanity of those 3, it's gonna be hard to top that. And I really want a director that I feel like could top that, someone that goes crazy. You ever seen the Crank movies?
No, but I've seen clips of them. Yeah.
Someone
I've seen
like
clips
that.
of them.
Someone that has that kinetic style, you know, the two
I
of
like
them.
it. I like it. You
Yeah.
know, imagine Matthew Vaughn doing it.
Matthew Vaughn would be a great job.
That
He would do a great job.
That would be an interesting portrayal.
Because I think he has the style, especially with that scene in Kingsman that takes place in the church.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
That kind of style is perfect for the Furious films. They're Looney Tunes cartoons in real life.
Yeah, and they're only outdoing each other. So if 8 doesn't top the bar, which is going to be tough to do, the audience might be disappointed.
I agree with that because I think it's going to take a dive financially. However, having said that, I think
It'll be
doesn't
fine.
have to take a dive in quality, and that's what I'm hoping for here. That's why we need more rock, more action, more craziness. That's all I'm asking for as far as that goes, and I think that's all I have to say about it.
Well said.
Eller Coltrane showed a lot of potential last year when he stepped into the Oscar-nominated drama Boyhood, having to portray basically a different version of himself, and acting as a character is a whole other animal. It was just announced that Coltrane will join Tom Hanks and Emma Watson in James Ponsol's adaptation On the Circle. Based on the novel by Dave Eggers, the film follows Watson as she makes the rise through the titular organization, an Edward Snowden/Julian Assange influence group that leaks secrets with technology. Also starring John Boyega, Karen Gillan, and Patton Oswalt, the film will be released sometimes in 2016.
It's a pretty big cast.
Pretty nice cast. It's a lot of like
Experience,
under the
yeah.
radar people too.
Yeah, like Karen Gillan is from Guardians and
Yep, she is Nebula
Doctor
in Guardians.
Who.
And Doctor
Right,
Who, yeah.
that's where she got her start.
And
Okay,
John
that's what I
Boyega is
thought.
about to blow up. He's not
Yeah,
right now.
I know, but
give
come
it
December.
about 3 months, yeah. Everybody's gonna be
we
like,
just got so giddy. Look at us.
everybody's gonna be like, that's my brother. That's from December 18th on.
My brother from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if we want to go back to Boyhood, I see that movie more as a art/film masterpiece than I do even like a movie. It's just a large accomplishment. And like, as far as Best Picture goes, it wasn't my favorite film of the year, but it's just such a different kind of movie. And having been taking part in that, as Eller Coltrane was, there's got to be so much experience working with Richard Linklater and Ethan Hawke and all those big names.
Absolutely.
So I would love to see what he does in other movies.
I agree with that, absolutely. I think this cast, man, and the story sounds really topical, very 21st century.
Yep, true.
I want to read the novel now. The explanation of the plot, just the 2-sentence explanation I got from it, makes me intrigued to read the rest of the novel. Kind of like we did, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago with what was it called, The Girl on the Train?
Yeah.
I want to read that too because
Yeah,
that
that sounds interesting
sounded really
also.
interesting. And I want to jump before the craze, but I don't read much, so.
No, me neither.
I can't read
Like I
much.
know a bunch of people read The Martian right before it came out and are freaking out. I'm like, I would love to do that.
Which
but it's
we're
just
less than 24 hours about and I'm very excited about for the record.
Same.
Very big cast, good room for Coltrane to grow. Glad
Yeah.
he's not just going to be pigeonholed as the Boyhood actor is one of
Yes.
the big things about this.
Yes, me too.
People recognized his talent out of that.
Yep. So, although I've only seen this actor in last summer's The Fault in Our Stars, this next project sounds pretty fascinating. Nat Wolff is in talks to star in another book-to-film adaptation, but this time it won't be anything romantic. Upcoming film Death Note is about a notebook that brings death to anyone whose name gets written down inside of it. Wolff would play the student who comes across the notebook and soon becomes under investigation once a detective becomes wary of the events taking place. No release date has been set, but filming is expected to start next spring. Again, I've only seen him in The Fault in Our Stars, but that was decent. I thought he was fine. He played the kid who's losing his sight, right?
You know who he is, right?
Yeah. Well, from Naked
Naked
Brothers band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. He's becoming an actor.
I hated that show.
yeah.
I hated that show so much.
I never watched it. I didn't get the urge to. But I think it's pretty funny he's becoming
Such an
a movie
absurd
star.
name for a band. It's not funny.
No, and
No.
it's uncomfortable.
Brothers being naked is not funny,
It's
ladies and
uncomfortable.
gentlemen.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Having said that, he's really good in Fault in Our Stars.
He was solid.
And apparently he's just as good in Paper Towns, too.
Which I didn't see.
Which
That
I
was
didn't
like,
get a chance to.
That was like one of 3 movies you didn't get to this year.
Just about to say that. That was like one of 3 movies this summer that I missed. But he's a very talented actor.
Yeah, he's up and coming.
Very cool concept. Very cool concept.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. But I feel like they got to be careful because I could see some maybe not about plot holes, but kind of loopholes in the story a little bit. I feel like they could be a bit of a
it's very easy
risky,
to mess up. Yeah.
So I feel like they really got to
Absolutely
buckle down
very
and get
easy
it right.
to
but-
mess up. Good title too. Filming's expected
Yeah.
to start next spring.
Yep.
Can you tell I'm just reading this for the first time right now, but I'm absorbing all the information? We do preparation here on the Middle Seats. folks.
Sometimes.
I need sleep.
Dude, me too.
Anyways, another Netflix story. You may want us to chill out, but we just want to Netflix and chill with y'all. Apparently, that's what Netflix wants too, is they've engineered a literal Netflix and chill button that, we're not kidding here, dims the lights, puts your phone on Do Not Disturb mode, and prepares Netflix for streaming. So yes, folks, Netflix is officially in charge of your potential hookups. Celebrate that.
That I knew you would love this story, and it's pretty hysterical. Netflix is not only are they aware of how successful they're being, they're really aware of who their crowd is.
It is so
And they're
meta.
like, they know
it's
what
so
they're-
meta. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
They know what they are, and they're playing right into it, and it's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a pretty big hit.
Because they know the age of their audience, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Like, the people, who watches the most Netflix? I guarantee you it's college students. Who says Netflix and chill the most? It's not grandma, it's not grandpa, it's not great-grandpa.
Anna Grisoulis in our class earlier.
Yeah.
She said like 3 different times. We were like, are you sure you know what that means? You're telling like the teacher that.
Yeah. And then the teacher was like, what's that mean?
Yeah, we
And
were like, never mind, moving on.
it's like, oh, you were alive during Nam. You're so old. You're so old.
Right.
But Netflix and chill, it's
funny.
It's the next YOLO.
But
the next,
I think it's more clever.
It's
I
more
was gonna say
clever.
cleverer. It's more clever than that.
What is it from? Cleverer.
Drawing a blank on that also. I know it's
Okay.
from something. SpongeBob
Palms are
maybe.
sweaty,
I don't
knees
know.
weak, arms are heavy.
So-
But yeah, cool story.
Yeah. But our top story tonight is about director Matthew Vaughn and how he's making a name for himself in recent films, and is also making it clear that he loves a good action movie. Started off with Daniel Craig's Layer Cake in 2004, then Stardust in 2007, followed by his arguably biggest 3 films yet in Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and recent February's Kingsman. Playing off the latter, Vaughn is going to be working on more spy stuff in the near future. Another book-to-film adaptation called I Am Pilgrim will concern a former head of an organization spy who was pulled out of retirement to help with an investigation. The book is being looked at as a potential franchise starter by the studio, which Vaughn has proven to work well with in kickstarting all kinds of material. Although no release date is set, it is rumored that Kingsman sequel is in the works, which is pretty interesting. And I can definitely see a Kingsman sequel. But as far as I Am Pilgrim goes, I like that he's going to develop a whole, like more of a franchise, because I think he's a good man to do it. And he's proven himself a very, very good director recently.
Why can't he just stick to a sequel?
I know.
Why can't he do it? Kick-Ass 2 wouldn't be so terrible if it was directed by
I know.
Matthew Vaughn.
Kick-Ass 2 annoyed me.
It's very
The first
rough.
one's really good. The
It's a
second
rough
one was
movie.
annoying.
I mean, we got lucky with Days of Future Past because Bryan Singer decided to come back to do it. But
Yeah.
before that, it looked kind of glum with him not coming back after
Yeah.
First Class because First Class is a huge success. He's so talented. As
Yeah,
far as
he's
I'm
been killing
concerned,
everything.
As far as I'm concerned, he's 5 for 5.
I haven't seen Layer Cake or Stardust, but he's
Stardust is
certainly
excellent. Stardust is really good.
Is it?
Yeah, I would really recommend that. It's a very underrated sci-fi.
Yeah.
More like fantasy, I would say. It's very underrated in that regards. But yeah, anything he'll do, I'll watch.
Yeah, and same. I love Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class. I think Kingsman's really good. We went over this in February. It's not my favorite out of the 3 latest films he did.
My favorite's
but
Kick-Ass.
That and First Class are really close.
Kick-Ass is
I love
so watchable over and over again.
that
It's
it
just
is.
unbelievable.
That it is.
So we're just gonna keep talking here. I Am Pilgrim. Cool title.
Yeah, I don't know much about the novel, but I like that these spy movies are coming about a little bit more. I know my dad's read a couple of them, not the I Am Pilgrim himself, but I know he's read a couple, and there's all kinds of material out there.
Yeah,
for
absolutely. Absolutely.
film.
Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, and then after that, we're going to come back with our review of Everest. Stick it here, folks.
I'm Christos Petris, and I say drink responsibly.
Welcome back, folks.
Thank you for sticking around.
What do you think of the news so far this year?
This week in particular was slightly slow, but in the past it's been pretty big, and we're trying to, because this is a problem we had in the past. We're trying to avoid Star Wars and Marvel because
Marvel.
we get those every week. So we're trying to venture out, and even still, there's some good news coming out.
It's a lot of interesting stories and stuff, but that'll do it for the top 5. We've gotten a lot of it done already here. It's time for a review of Everest. Jake, are you ready?
Yes.
I don't believe you. Are you ready?
I'm gonna hike up this review like most of them didn't get to them. I'm just kidding. So as humans, we are developing a sense of fulfillment, of accomplishment, a sense of overcoming the odds. And we especially don't want to back out of something that costs us money because that stuff is way too important to waste. As a college student, I dropped over $300 on skydiving this summer. You can't just back out of something when that much money is on the line.
Don't make me think.
I also thought it was going to be an incredible experience and something I was going to be happy and never forget. And it was. It just so happens that these are also some of the best things the Everest script does, because previously listed are character motives for climbing the highest peak in the world, and it makes them pretty relatable. Unfortunately, that is one of the only positive points this sloppy script has to offer. William Nicholson and Simon Beaufoy's writing here is consistently all over the place, which is kind of shocking considering both worked on really good films like Gladiator, Les Miserables, Slumdog Millionaire, Hunger Games Catching Fire, and 127 Hours. Despite both of their noteworthy credentials, it seems as if the duo just couldn't quite put it together for this expedition disaster drama. For starters, there are way too many moving parts at this seemingly beginningless movie. It honestly feels like 2 long middle parts, and the audience is thrown right into it. Immediately starts off with traveling to the venue, then small talk among characters to establish backgrounds, which later leads to talking about motives and the risks, but it definitely suffers from a too many character syndrome. Each character is given a motive for making the climb, but we only end up truly caring for a handful of them due to lack of writing, screen time, or both. It essentially comes down to thoroughly enjoying Jason Clarke as Rob Hall, who is ultimately the lead, although that isn't certain until late into the film, if at all, and Jake Gyllenhaal's character Scott Fisher, if not for anything but good acting, in a likable portrayal of a cool character who's kind of like everyone's favorite high-energy, fun-spirited camp counselor. Other than that, you feel for some, forget about others, and come to terms with watching a hiking expedition gone wrong due to weather and flat-out stubborn personalities. The only other performance I would say sticks out is Keira Knightley's underused character. She plays a pregnant, soon-to-be-married to Jason Clarke's character, who doesn't like him hiking in the first place. And then there's Josh Brolin, who's a Texan tough guy who threw down 65,000 big ones to make this expedition, and he'll be damned if he doesn't make it. Make note, however, that there is some really great visuals and solid camera work to be done here as well. Even if he does pull a Michael Bay and use the same shot twice, you kind of let it go because of how beautiful it is throughout the whole movie. Director Baltasar Kormakur and cinematographer Salvatore Tutino capture some really great moments on the legendary summit that is Everest. The visuals are eye-opening and definitely help build attention when you realize the seriousness of the storm approaching. There's a great quote from last May's Godzilla that fits in here. The arrogance of man is thinking that nature is in our control and not the other way around. That becomes very prominent when blackened, frost-bitten fingers come onto screen, and no matter what the characters do to try and make it back to camp, nature has its own agenda that is entirely out of their control. And following those scenes are some pretty solid work from a few actors that make this disaster movie touching. Another clever thing the movie did was parallel the quote from on-screen star Jason Clarke and well-crafted cinematography. It goes along the lines of, "It doesn't matter, Everest makes its own weather," end quote, and then the shots captured follow suit in pretty amazing ways, almost as if to put our existence into perspective and show how small we are in the grand scheme of things. One in particular spirals down from an Everest bird's eye view to a close-up of a character not only surrounded, but buried in a seemingly never-ending sea of beautiful, yet evidently deadly white powder. I really like the themes of nature in the film, as well as the shots captured, and a handful of the performances. If there's one flaw, it's a major one. It lies in the script. It's distractingly messy and unstructured, and at points makes a simple story feel a little too complicated. It loses track of its characters and doesn't really give us more than 5 minutes of a start or an end. Just really 2 large middle pieces. There's some good memorable work done here, but in the end falls short of anything great due to a vital part of the filmmaking process that is the screenplay. I mean, wasn't it like 5th grade where we were taught to outline before jumping straight into the essay? I mean, it avoids making a good sense of flow and avoidance of sloppy work.
When was the last time you wrote a first draft?
Probably 5th grade when I learned.
Fair enough.
So I think that was really the major flaw in this movie. It was just strung out in so many directions.
I agree. I agree. I really wanted to like this. I did.
Me too.
I did.
And when I left the theater, I was like, that was good. And then the more I thought about it, when I started writing the review, I was like, I really didn't like it as much as I thought.
The fatal flaw for me, and you kind of touched on this a little bit. This movie could be alternately titled, No, seriously, why are you doing this? Why? The movie does not give me a good enough reason. Character motivations, character backgrounds, character personalities. We get one trait about these people. Josh Brolin, he's the Texas guy. And John Hawkes, he's the guy that didn't make it the first time.
So he's got to try again.
Yeah. And then the Asian girl is the Asian girl.
Yeah, she's done 6 out of 7.
She's done 6 out of the 7, yeah. And this is her last chance.
So, I mean, they establish them, but they don't really drive them home enough.
Exactly. They establish who they are, but don't go any further than that. It's all surface level work for the characters.
Yeah.
They don't give them good enough motivation to why they should be risking their lives, because the mountain punishes them for the next hour and 25 minutes.
Brutally.
And it's brutal to watch, because I pitied these people. I didn't fall in love with them like I wanted to.
Very, very well said.
The only person that the only 2 actors that were able to make me fully invest in them were Jason Clarke, who I continue to be enormously impressed with. I'm a big fan of Jason Clarke, especially his work in like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Zero Dark 30. He continues to be one of the best we have working today. Keira Knightley did a great job here. First of all, her New Zealand accent is on point.
Yeah, she was
well
really
done.
good, and she was very touching.
And her role is very underwritten too, but she sells every second of it.
She does,
yeah.
absolutely.
Those 2 made it work.
And I think Jake Gyllenhaal was good also. Again, not as much screen time as I expected, but when he is on screen, you like him.
Really interesting that they gave that kind of role to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you
Because
wouldn't
he's a
think it.
leading man, and his name's at the bottom of. His name's at the bottom of the poster.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's not a huge role. It's an important role, but it's not a huge role. It's, but that just shows you how game Jake Gyllenhaal
But yeah, Jake
is.
Gyllenhaal, he's really becoming one of those actors who's great in everything.
Again, I wanted to see more from him, though. They don't for me personally, they don't clearly establish what his relationship with Jason Clarke is, really. Are they rivals?
Yeah.
Do they have
Yeah.
bitterness against each other? Or are they kind of cool with each other but still rivals?
It
You
kind of
gotta
falters a little.
establish it more than anything.
They work for 2 different hiking expedition companies, but then they like, due to the conditions of the mountains, they kind of try to compromise a little, and it's not really, you're never really sure where it goes.
And I'm not saying like they had to be like so overt with it that they're clearly, one of them's clearly evil, one of them is like the good shiny white knight in shining armor.
Right.
But I needed more than they gave me, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I feel like that's really the theme for the whole movie. I needed more from the script in general than what I got.
The cinematography is fantastic. The effects are fantastic.
There are some really good shots.
The acting's solid. It's fine. It's not as remarkable as I'd like from actors like John Hawkes and Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin's kind of stuck behind that accent, I think, a little bit.
Yeah,
personally.
he's okay.
He's fine.
But
yeah, no problems.
Yeah, he's got his moments, but in general,
but
it's all right.
this could have been like a disaster classic, as much as disaster
yes,
movie could
I
be
could
a
have seen
classic.
it go that way,
But
it just didn't.
The movie that this kept reminding me was Independence Day, which is a film I think is highly overrated because I love the effects in Independence Day. I love the action sequences. The characters are awful in Independence Day.
It's been a while for me,
And
so
they're
I can't
just
touch on
type
that
characters.
too much. But,
And Everest unfortunately has those same problems, and they're major problems too. So
yeah, no, I remember throughout the whole movie, like all of a sudden we're just kind of thrown into the action. I was like, where was the build up? We didn't get anything. It was just a lot of
it was a lot of anxiety for me watching the movie, which was partly what the movie was trying to do, but also partly me just sitting there like watching these people I don't know suffer. You know?
Yeah, that's when you put it that way, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's like it's almost torture. Yeah. So let's just. I would say we just give our ratings here.
Yeah.
And put away this torture.
I think I started at a 6.5, but that might be slightly generous. That could be subject to change, but for now I'm going to stick with a 6.5 because I didn't hate it, but it's got one really major flaw.
You sound like you're closer to me than you are actually.
I think I might be.
I'm at 5.5.
Yeah.
It's good to rent. It's if you have a nice high def TV.
Yeah.
Watch.
Fair enough.
Mute the dialogue scenes. Watch the disaster. Watch these people get pummeled. I just said this is torture. What's wrong with me?
I know.
But yeah, it's kind of a disappointment for me because I was looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything remarkable, unfortunately.
No. So my final thoughts. Is that your final thoughts?
That's my final thoughts.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty much with you.
And that'll do it for our review of Everest, unfortunately. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up next, MCTV News Director Dylan Gordon will join us as we kick it old school in our new segment, Classics Corner.
Classics Corner.
Coming back.
Somebody affected by sexual assault.
It knows no gender. It can affect men, women, everybody.
It's not as if we as college kids can't do anything about it.
It's really important to educate everyone
about how they're involved in terms of preventing it.
Oh, that could never happen to me. I'll never be that person in that situation, but it can happen to anybody, and it's scary.
It takes a lot of courage and bravery to say something.
We should say something because it is happening, it's happened, and it should be stopped.
It is a huge issue that occurs on college campuses worldwide.
And we can't tiptoe around it anymore.
It's important to be safe and know who you're with and trust who you're with.
Intaking massive amounts of alcohol, it's not a beneficial choice to make. Yes, you can still have fun, but be smart about it.
If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Just as a human being, you have the responsibility to step in if you don't feel things are natural or as positive as they could be.
We're Marist College and it's on us.
We're Marist College, and it's on us.
We're Marist College.
And it's on us.
We're Marist College and it's on us.
We're Marist College, and it's on us.
We are Marist College. It's on us.
We are Marist, and it's most definitely on us.
Welcome back to the middle seats, ladies and gentlemen. We're on to our third segment. It's a brand new segment. Jake and I figured out we don't talk a lot about older movies, you know? So we have a lot of modern stuff on our show, right?
Yep.
So we do the
We
review
always
of the week.
do the latest news, the big movie of the week, but we often, sometimes we'll touch on it, but we don't enough get back to what gives us the films that we have today.
Yeah.
So for that, we have Mr. Dylan Gordon.
Dylan Gordon, the MCTV news director, which shoots every Monday if you're looking to ever watch a news show on
show.
MCTV.
you
It's a
wanna
good
watch.
show. It's almost as good as the middle seats. So, anyways.
Almost as good. Oh, shots fired.
I'm just speaking how it is. So anyways, we've seen a lot of these films, but we just need someone to kind of powwow off. And we decided, Dylan, first of all, how are you?
I'm great. I'm doing great.
Are you?
Awesome. Great answer.
Whose clothes are you wearing? I love this.
I'm wearing your clothes.
Yeah, he's actually wearing my clothes. He went into my closet today. He texted me, and we shoot at 9:30 typically, as many of you wouldn't know, theoretically. Start at 9:30.
Behind the scenes.
But 8:30, I get a text from Dylan. Do you have a shirt and tie I can borrow? I've seen this kid in a suit before.
Many times.
I forgot it at home.
Okay.
The one thing for you to forget.
Right, my suit.
The news director.
My suit.
Soon to be anchor.
Well, now you're comfy in my clothes.
I am comfy.
Our theme today for Classics Corner, the first ever Classics Corner, is we're going to be talking about blockbusters, summer blockbusters, because we just ended the summer, right, Jake? We just
and now
finished the
it's
summer.
freezing, damn it. But yeah, we just finished the
It's
summer.
60
Yeah,
degrees.
I had to
Calm
wear
down.
a
No, it
jacket
was
on the way over
cold.
here. It was cold.
Anyways, we're going to go, it almost actually turned out to be chronological order, but we have a couple
Essentially, yeah.
categories, and you're just going to give us your thoughts on these movies, because
Okay.
they're movies that I know that you hold in high regard. Love every single one of them,
I
right?
love 80s movies. That's my thing.
And like Jimmy Neutron's dad said, good luck tonight, kids. And remember, have fun with it.
All right, let's kick it off with that.
Obscure reference, man.
That was very out of the blue.
We're doing
but
Classics Corner from 2001. Anyways, we're going to start with the first blockbuster. You said you loved 80s movies. We're going to start with a 70s movie.
This one is
1975, Steven Spielberg's Jaws. So what do you think of Jaws?
I love Jaws. I've only seen it a couple times, but it's still one of my favorites. It was like groundbreaking. Like you said, it was the first like blockbuster film, and like it scared the crap out of people. Like when my mom was you're about to do the Jaws theme. When my mom was a kid, she saw it, and my mom loves the ocean, but wouldn't go in because it scared the crap out of people. They like it was horrifying.
My dad has said similar things, actually.
The tagline is, you'll be afraid to go in the water, or something like that.
Well, it worked.
So,
Bravo.
obviously it worked.
Bravo.
It really worked.
They were on, Spielberg was on point with that.
It definitely worked.
Spielberg's breakout film, highly, highly influential.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'd
lot of
say
these.
I'd definitely say my favorite scene from the movie is because you say you haven't seen it in a while, but the scene where they're on the boat and it's like the first time you see Jaws. Essentially, like the face just comes out and
Does a great job at
Oh.
reveal, that movie.
absolutely and
Builds tension.
And build up, yeah.
I was talking about how Alien used atmosphere. Jaws used
Jaws
atmosphere.
really
It
used
used the
atmosphere.
open
You-
sea
you
so
just-
well.
You, as Jake was pointing out, you just hear the.
Yeah, I'm taking a history of motion picture music class, and he went into how brilliant Jaws is because it's two keys, but what he does with it is he's very sporadic. There's not a whole lot of organization to it. He just kind of sporadically does it, and it is super, super effective, and it's really quite brilliant the way he puts it together.
I just want to point
I
out
just had
that
to do
you
it.
and Dylan locked eyes. You were about to do it, and then you started talking.
I was like, ah,
He's like, oh, you left him hanging.
Anyway.
left me hanging.
Anyways, a film I have seen kind of recently. Now we're gonna move on. So that's our first blockbuster. Now we're gonna do the pulp classic. So this is a film
Pulp
that
Fiction?
was kind of pulpy. Yeah,
I'm kidding, I
God.
know.
It's like heroin.
It's a
dude.
great.
My
Pulp
God.
Fiction's a great movie.
Spielberg again. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981.
I am a Spielberg guy. I gotta say, I love his movies.
Who is not a
Yeah, I
Spielberg
was just gonna
guy?
say that. Who's not though? If you don't like Spielberg, you just don't like movies.
That was Spielberg and George Lucas. They kind of worked together to create that. They collaborated.
But it's got the feel. Raiders of the Lost Ark has the feel of like a Saturday afternoon, not a cartoon, but like a live-action serial, you would say.
I could
Just
watch that movie.
amped up, yeah.
So many. I have watched it many times in my life, and I love it.
And what they did is create one of the greatest characters of all time.
Indiana Jones
Easily.
is by far one of the best characters.
One of the best characters of all time, one of the best performances of all time, one of the
Iconic.
So many iconic moments in that movie. What's your favorite moment?
Can you pick one?
Yes, my favorite moment in the movie is, most people have seen it. It's the part where Indy's looking for Mary and he's running through like the yard of like, what is it, where they're selling things, and suddenly
The market, yeah.
the dude with the sword comes out and just
Yep.
starts swinging it around. And
You
he,
answered-
He just looks at him and shoots.
You
him.
answered correctly.
And that's my.
Great.
Do you know the story behind that?
I was just going to ask you to tell it. I know you do.
Well, the story behind that is Harrison Ford was on set that day, and he had like gastrointestinal problems and just didn't want to
You
do
must
the
have said
scene.
diarrhea.
He was having explosive diarrhea, and he didn't want to continue fighting this. Like there was supposed to be a sword fight and all that, but he did not want that.
He
So
was like,
just pulled the
"Nah."
gun out, shot him, and the guy went with it. So
You've got the opening scene, obviously, which has been parodied so many times. It's actually kind of annoying right now. Stop
is annoying.
directors of
It is
Hollywood.
annoying.
Stop it. You've also got the don't look at it straight in the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
you've got the scene where they pull the ark out for the first time. That movie is just full of
chock full of them.
Chock full of them.
Great film. Great film.
Really
So
is.
from the pulp classic, we're gonna go to the cult classic. These are films that weren't huge when they first came out, or like as huge as they are now, or revered as influential as they are
But
now.
they're pretty big now.
They're pretty big now, and we chose Gremlins. Joe Dante's Gremlins from
I
1984.
love Gremlins. A lot of people don't, as it's
Confession, I have never seen the full thing. I've
never
seen
seen
bits
it.
and pieces.
I saw it a long time ago, but it's been a while for me too. But I do remember it. Some of it's definitely stuck with me a little bit, like the rules and then how they wreak havoc on the town.
That's
and
my
everything.
favorite. My favorite scene is when Mr. Pulitzer or Piltzer, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Billy's dad. The main character's name is Billy. Brings home Gizmo, the Mogwai, like for the first time, and teaches him all the rules. One, like that you can't bring it out in direct sunlight because it'll kill it. Don't
feed
get it
them-
wet,
don't feed them
and
after
don't feed it
midnight.
after midnight because that's where gremlins come from.
Yeah.
And I recently found something kind of funny about the movie.
Oh, boy.
Gizmo, like the Mogwai, is the voice of it is done by Howie Mandel from Deal or No Deal.
Really?
Yeah.
Did
I
not know that.
recently found that out, that apparently he did the voice for this tiny little, like, 1 foot tall creature that turns into a gremlin.
Yeah, raging.
The more you know.
Raging death machine.
I wish we had a crossover between that and America's Got Talent.
Right?
I'd vote for a Gremlin
He's
on
still.
America's Got
I
Talent.
would. They're pretty
Maybe-
good. They're pretty good singers.
Maybe that's why Howie Mandel's such a germaphobe, because too many germs sends to Gremlin. Conspiracy theory.
Illuminati.
Another one.
Illuminati.
Anyway, let's move on from the cult classic. We're going to talk about the generation builder. 80s movies had a lot of influence on the teenagers of that generation.
Influence on me.
Yeah. And one of the big ones of that generation that shaped what, not quite our moms and dads, but like the moms and dads of maybe some of the kids
Right.
in middle school and high school right now, Ferris Bueller's Day Off
talk
by
about
John
great-
Hughes.
great
The late-
character.
the late
One of
John
my
Hughes.
favorite films.
Yeah, you want to talk about great
Love it.
characters? That Ferris Bueller is a, when you watch this movie, he is a guy that you're like, I would like to be him.
That was me.
That is who I wanted to
In
be.
high school, I would go through even when I came
Oh,
here.
you were Ferris Bueller, really?
I wanted to
Why
be.
the?
I wasn't saying that I was
Stop.
Ferris Bueller. I'm saying I wanted to be Ferris. Like,
Yeah, who
what
didn't?
what teenage boy wouldn't want to be Ferris?
my
He was cool. He was good looking. He got
Suave.
he got the girl. He was suave. Oh, that.
Yeah, the charm on
What
that
guy wouldn't want to be Ferris
Matthew
Bueller?
Broderick, career-making performance right there.
Oh yeah.
That movie,
Easily.
not only is it hysterical, not only does it have so many iconic moments, again, obviously all of these are going to have iconic moments,
Yeah.
but that movie is just a triumphant,
What is your favorite
Like-
scene?
the parade.
Parade.
I was gonna say the parade might be mine too
It's
because
twist
I
and
would
shout.
just-
You can't.
The parade.
can't
If that
beat that.
ever happened to me, I could die happy. Like
Parade.
that would be so phenomenal to
I love
actually
that.
happen.
I also love the scene where the mom goes home to check on him, and he's got the whole thing, like the,
When he's-
the
when
recording.
he's running?
And, yeah.
The-
We got the end, and then when she goes to check on him, and he's got the recording.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything.
You know what else is low key great about Ferris that kind of just subtly like adds to his character when he's racing to get home before he gets.
I love that scene.
He gets caught, and all of a sudden he
Stops by and looks at the
Yeah, he's like
He introduces
he's like,
himself.
"Hi, my name's
He's like
Ferris,"
Ferris
and it's
Bueller,
just-
Ferris
it's
Bueller.
Awesome, so good.
But that
love that.
movie, the thesis of that movie, I'm not sure if it's the very, very last line, but it's one of the last lines. Life moves by pretty fast if you don't,
Life moves fast. If you don't stop and look around, you might miss it.
and that's such a great way to live.
Really
That's
Great.
I actually had to use that for like we did a speech in my speech class, and they were like, oh, pick a quote from a movie that you wanted
Such
to
a
use.
high school quote. It's such a high school quote.
They were like,
It kinda is, but it's
what
great.
What quote would you give to freshmen to live by? And I was just like, boom, that.
Yeah.
It's easy.
And finally, the favorite. The favorite. I don't know if it's your favorite of all time, but it's at least top 3.
number 2.
Number 2.
It's number 2.
Number 2 of Dylan's all time is
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Robert Zemeckis, 1985.
Ah.
What do you love? What do you dislike?
what-
about
yeah,
it?
What do I
Right there.
dislike?
We only got a couple minutes left.
There's the scene with Biff and his mom. That's it. I don't like that scene because it's who would like that scene? It's
It's like Stacy's mom with a little kick to it.
yes, exactly. Well, no, not the scene with Marty and his mom, but the scene where Biff comes in and
okay.
starts attacking her. Yeah,
I went through
you
that
you
wrong.
misread that. You
I misread that.
So I was like, hold on a second.
But I love, aside from that, I love every part of that movie. It's quotable. Like
Again, Michael J. Fox made his career off the Marty McFly role.
I love-
Christopher Lloyd, forget it.
He's
never been anything more
Yeah,
than
other
Doc
than-
Brown.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he's done
really.
other things,
Yeah.
but
Great
he will
Scott,
always be him.
I haven't been in another movie
last year, I was Marty
Good
McFly
movie.
for Halloween. It was
Wait,
perfect.
Dylan, I have a serious question for you.
Yes.
Are you chicken?
Nobody calls me chicken.
Yeah, so your nickname for rugby actually
It was
is
McFly. We watched it on the way back from one of our matches, and they looked at me and they were like, "Dylan, you look like Marty McFly," and it stuck. So because
He's
of
in his
that,
glory.
What's that?
He's in his glory.
Ah, I love it.
Yeah. If you're McFly again this year, I'll kick your ass. I'll
I'm
be
not.
Biff.
I've actually come up with a good idea for my Halloween costume.
Now, would you rather be, as a character, McFly or Ferris Bueller? If you could pick one.
Ooh, well, Marty McFly goes through time, so.
What about if we're doing personalities?
True that.
Is
If
it
we're doing
same
personality,
character?
if we're doing
Someone?
personalities, I
They're both pretty great.
I
They're both pretty
essentially
great.
like am Marty McFly. So.
And that'll do it for this episode of MCTV's The Middle Seats. I've heard everything I need to hear from Dylan. Thank you so much for joining us. Follow us on social media. Check out our website. Dylan, do you have anywhere that you want any people to follow you?
I got Facebook, Twitter.
The Gram.
And those
Watch
are.
Watch me on news when I anchor.
Watch it news
watch
every
me-
week.
watch news in
He
general.
directs every episode.
It's great.
Handles these
Check out our website, middleseatsshow.wordpress.com. We've been writing some stuff for it. Check it out. We also have a Snapchat.
We have a new Snapchat.
Add us on Snapchat. The Middle Seats. I think it's just the Middle Seats, right?
Yeah,
I thought it was the
established
MCTV.
Any kind of behind the scenes stuff, that'll be there. If any of you care, it'd be great if you care.
Should
You should
Yeah.
care.
You should
This
also
great,
add
this
to
great
our,
show has a lot
our
of people
Facebook
working
page
on
and
it.
our mailbox segment, which only happened once.
And we made up questions, and yeah.
I go to it.
Everybody pay.